Well, good morning, and it's Monday, isn't it? So the computer has woken up with a headache and won't do anything that I tell it to. So you're just going to have to put up with me this morning, and I hope that we're going to have a half decent morning. He said. We should be. We should have a much better connection than we normally do. Doesn't seem to be that way at the moment. You think you fixed it all and you haven't. Never mind. We will motor on for a little while. And hope that the whole thing starts to work. Take a look at me. I'm working. That's what you'll have to put up with, I'm afraid. Okay, let's just do what we normally do. Go straight to the newspaper headlines. And there's more reaction to Russell Brandt's revelations in the media this morning. At the Times, the headline is Brandt faces more claims. The rape accuser says, "I know the demon underneath." And reaction to the accusations against actor and comedian Russell Brandt continue to dominate most of the front pages today. The Times, one of the papers that led the investigation into his alleged misconduct, reports that since Saturday, more women have come forward with allegations. It says, these claims have not yet been investigated, but will now be rigorously checked. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's the start. At least, our provider has at least admitted that it's their fault and not ours. An error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again. That is to bring some video, etc., to you. But at least we've got the live picture. At least we think we got the live picture. I'm a bit bemused by the fact that the whole system seems to be up the chute this morning again. And I will make an excuse that it's Monday and it wakes up with a headache. But we lovingly spent hours on the weekend getting the thing bloody right. And now it comes Monday morning and time to go to work and it doesn't want to. Never mind, we will motor on. We will motor on regardless. Regardless. The Metro. Brandt, what did TV bosses know? Now they're changing the emphasis and the spotlight. The Metro reports that the controversy raises questions about what television executives knew about Brandt's alleged behavior, saying some may have turned a blind eye. The star is accused of rape and sexual assault, allegations he has strenuously denied, saying his relationships were always consensual. His word against theirs, I guess. The Eye, an open secret. Russell Brandt broadcasters face questions over failures. Right, okay. The Eye also reports on questions about what television executives might have known, saying the industry faces allegations of a culture protecting the star over vulnerable staff. Okay, well, we might have a little comment of our own on that in a minute. The Daily Telegraph, BBC forced into urgent inquiry over Brandt. The Daily Telegraph reports that the BBC has launched an urgent inquiry into alleged complaints made against Brandt, who worked as a radio presenter for the corporation between 2006 and 2008. The Daily Express, Russell Brand's sex assault claims may be tip of the iceberg. The Daily Express reports the complaints made so far could be the tip of the iceberg, that there are many more waiting out there. And of course, the thing is, if there is a deluge, they all need to be investigated. You mustn't just take the word of somebody that Russell Brandt had me. You've got to make sure that he did, and that in the way that they allege. I've never liked the fellow. That doesn't mean to say that he must not be denied the normal system of justice. And he most certainly could be if the mob rule takes place. Mob rule, the unfortunate thing is, The Guardian is Unite launches a red wall push for more radical Labour policies. The Guardian is it's got a picture of Brandt on its front page, but its main story is the news that Unite, Labour's biggest union supporter, will launch campaigns in red wall areas. That is, the areas where at the last election the Tories took unexpected Labour seats, and to try and urge the party to launch more radical policies in areas such as energy, steel, and green jobs. So the unions are getting involved in politics if they haven't always been. The Daily Mail is Letby may have murdered 3 more babies. It goes back to the scandal over the nurse who was found guilty of the deaths of several babies. Now says that they think she may have killed more. The Financial Times, a Labour government would seek to rewrite the Brexit deal, Starmer pledges. And what the FT says is Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer plans to seek a major rewrite of Britain's Brexit deal if his party wins the next general election. Sir Keir says the current deal the UK has with the bloc is too thin. The paper's main image shows an anti-fossil fuel protest in New York as world leaders gather in the city for this week's United Nations General Assembly. The Daily Star. The Daily Star's always got lots of fun. But it says Britain on the lash. And the Daily Star warns its readers to prepare for an 11-day stretch of rain and floods, adding that Hurricane Lee could hit the UK with gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. Take it breezy out there, it says, and while a confused seagull looks on. So that's basically the news headlines. Covered diversions from Russell Brandt, but generally speaking, he continues to maintain the headlines. I'm always very, very uneasy about the charges of sexual aggression, sexual interference, and so on. A very, very careful, if you like. Because quite often what happens is that the allegations are made by today's standards, but they're allegations of 5, 10, even 15 years ago, when things were very different. And if, in fact, in that time, some of these charges had been not appropriate, then I think that they shouldn't be appropriate today. Now, I want to understand before I start to get angry ladies saying, "Oh, Keith, are you anti-feminist?" and so on. So, well, no, I'm not. And I think that we must look after those who are subject to sexual abuse, male and female, young and old. But what I am saying is that it must be real. It's the old thing is, in the old days, a copper couldn't arrest somebody for breaking and entering into a bank. So what he did was he manufactured that he break and entered into a grocery store. The one wasn't true, but what he did was it led to an easy arrest of the guy who'd committed crime A. So we must be very, very careful about these things. Now let's see whether we can actually take a look at the weather. Because overnight we had a fantastic storm. I woke up. I woke up to see the lightnings, absolutely incredible, and illuminated the skyline in a magnificent way. Well, no, nothing is working this morning. Nothing. Absolutely sweet bugger all is happening this morning. It's all gone to bed. All gone to bed. And it's just not playing ball. Not playing ball at all. Can we get the thing back on the road? Good thing or a bad thing, or an in-between thing. Anyway, at 22.8, 22, yes, 22.9, sorry, we're going to join the 2Bs. I am not absolutely sure whether they might have a special guest today. If not, if not, we certainly. This is bothering me, I'm afraid, that all this technical stuff. I can remember being shipwrecked once in the Juan de Fuca Strait. Where the hell's that, you'll say? It's off the coast of British Columbia. And I was helping a university mate sail his yacht from Vancouver to Victoria on Vancouver Island. And the engine broke down halfway. And I remember the chap saying, "My father spent the whole of the winter lovingly taking this apart and putting it back together. And look what happens." what happened is it didn't work. So we spent yesterday taking this app lovingly apart, and it seems not to be working this way, not the way it should, and that is sad. That is sad, to say the least. Anyway, as I was saying, I got Richard and Philip, the two Bs, possibly another one, this morning at 2 hour. They are always good value for money, and if we can get them, then we may well forgive the things that are happening now, but not until it is delivered. We deliver; it must deliver. I keep being told how wonderful its computers are, and social media, and so on and so forth. So let them deliver for us. So where do we go now? Oh, right. What we should do is we should just check to make sure that there's nothing locally happening. Well, now here we have an East Sussex care home owner has been jailed after fitting a dangerous gas cooker. A care home owner is let's just see if we can get the details. In Rother, and he's the owner had two offences to do with gas safety. Employees warned Amarjit Sami from Boston Gardens, Brentford, that he should not install a gas cooker at Crowhurst Care Home in March 2022, as he was not qualified. Sami ignored the warnings and told staff to cook that evening meal for a resident on the replacement cooker. The worker who prepared the meal ascended A&E later that evening with a heavy headache and disorientation. Other workers reported a pungent smell in the kitchen, the council said. Well, there we are. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Let's see if there's anything else there. Food and drink you can't miss. No, that's a PR stunt. Latest news in Lewis and East Sussex. No, not much there either. Some of these news operations, they call themselves news operations, are very, very poor. They get one headline and that's it. Mind you, who's poor? We can't get our own headline this morning. We can't. Dear. Okay, I said that I would have a little rant, and I will, because certain things bother me about sexual charges, and I'm quite sure that whereas today these things are objectionable to women. In the past, for instance, my late wife certainly knew how to handle people in the building trade, for instance, where on the site, when she walked past, she would engender wolf whistles. And she said actually quite flattering for a lady who's beginning to age to have whistles. And anyway, she said, in our day, we learned how to handle them, and we don't bother about them too much. Well, today's generation, unfortunately, they don't measure things that way. They don't think that they should have done something themselves. They think that society and through society, the key people in a building, they should be the people that are protecting them. Are they right? Are they wrong? I have no idea. But I think that it's one of those things where we can ask the question. Now, I think that we don't have. Oh, let's. Along with the white. Well, it's whenever we go to video, it shows about the first quarter of a millisecond, and that's it. So we're a bit stumped to show you any detail this morning. But I'm hoping that we are able to bring you the rest of the programs, because we've got the 2Bs in 10 minutes. Always good value for money, and always a good right. Let's just take a very quick break. All right, there I am. There I am. And who knows why things are happening that are. Just a couple more things then that come out of the front pages, because they do have little box stories, and it's easy enough to miss these, and sometimes they're much more important to us than the main story. Okay. the I is starting off. Sorry, it's Metro. No, it's not. it's the Times. The Times was the newspaper that broke the story on Brandt in the first place, so it feels incumbent to keep it going. And what it says is that there are more people, more ladies who are phoning and saying, "Hey, he did this to me and did that to me." And what I was unhappy about is in our day we would have done things that are not acceptable today, but acceptable then. But if somebody complains from the old days or the pre get excited days, then they are howled down because nobody wants to use the material, or what they don't want to do is to put a caveat on or a caution on that was created some time ago. They want it now, rough justice as it is now, and that's the way it is. Ooh. Not the greatest start to us. So Monday morning. We live in an age where everybody looks for a scapegoat. Everybody needs somebody to blame if things go wrong. And as we can see, the blame game has started already. It's his fault, it's her fault, and so on and so forth. I worry about that. I think that in some ways it is gaming, and gaming in a very, very poor way. To sort of say, okay, what is the ultimate of this game? Is it to make sure that this person is found guilty? And mob rule can overtake natural justice. And that is sad when a sophisticated society that should be enjoying and exhilarated, bouncing around, getting perhaps just a little bit a drink here and there. When they get somebody who lays a charge, an accusation against somebody, we must not always just accept the fact that because it's made the news that it is so. Now, I say I hold no brief for any of these people who have been accused. I mean, we're talking about Russell Brandt at the moment. I have no brief. I don't like the man at all. I never have done. But the fact of the matter is, if he is going to be pilloried and found guilty, he has got to play by. We've got to play by the rules and not manufacture situations and seams that make him guilty before he's even had a trial. Let's. I need to call up our guests now, so let's go down to the park if this is going to work. Is it? Uh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And if you think I'm looking puzzled and bemused, I most certainly am. Uh, hey, there we go. I'm afraid is that everything is a shoot. Everything. Uh, the whole thing is just ooh. I'm pretty sure that it's our system that's at fault, after me blaming everybody else. Um, Sorry, chaps.